She kissed another man at our baby shower, so I showed the paternity results. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. It was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. Emily's baby shower had been in the works for weeks. Decorations, custom cupcakes, pink balloons, a big welcome baby banner stretched across her parents' backyard. Everyone was there. Her friends, my family, neighbors we barely knew. It was hot, loud, full of people smiling and laughing. But something felt off. Emily wasn't acting like herself. She kept checking her phone, walking off alone, whispering with someone I didn't recognize. A tall guy with a trimmed beard and that cocky kind of body language. Every time I asked who he was, she brushed it off. Just a friend from college, she said, then quickly changed the subject. I wanted to believe her. We'd been together 5 years. Lived together for 3. I'd painted the nursery, built the crib, even canceled a guy's trip to be around more. I never thought I'd have to question her. But today, something felt wrong. And the worst part, I already had the answer. 2 days ago, I got the paternity test results. I'd done it quietly, used a prenatal test that didn't need her involvement. It had taken weeks, but it arrived in a thick envelope with cold, clinical words. Probability of paternity, 0%. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there staring at the paper for hours. And then I decided I wouldn't confront her, not until I saw what I needed to see. So I went to the baby shower with that envelope folded in my back pocket. I played the happy fiancé, smiled in pictures, held her hand. And I waited. At one point, she asked me to take a few pictures of her with the cake. It's so cute, she said, laughing. Come on, just a few. She held the cake with both hands, balancing it on her belly like it was part of her. I took the photos. Then I saw her walk into the side yard, near the flower beds. The guy followed her. I didn't mean to follow, but my feet moved on their own. I stayed behind a corner of the house, just out of sight. They talked for a minute, too quiet to hear. Then she kissed him. Slow. Familiar. Like they'd done it 100 times. And the cake? She was still holding it. She kissed him while holding our cake. And I was holding the paternity results in my pocket. It started 2 months ago with her phone. Emily had never been secretive before. She used to leave her phone on the couch, on the kitchen counter, face up. Suddenly, it was always in her pocket or face down. She started taking it with her to the bathroom. She'd smile at her screen and quickly lock it when I got near. At first, I told myself I was paranoid. Maybe pregnancy hormones were just making her more private. But the changes didn't stop there. She picked fights over nothing. What we were eating, what show I picked, how I folded laundry. Small things turned into full-blown arguments. It felt like she was trying to push me away, but I didn't want to believe it. Then one night, we were out with friends. Her college roommate, Becca, had a few too many drinks. We were talking about old stories, laughing about dorm life, and then Becca said something I couldn't ignore. She turned to Emily and said, "Hey, wasn't that the night you went out with Brian?" Emily froze. Becca realized what she said and tried to laugh it off, but the damage was done. I knew that name. Brian. Her ex. The one she swore she hadn't talked to in years. I didn't say anything that night. I just filed it away. A week later, while she was out shopping with her mom, I checked her laptop. She never logged out of her email. I know I shouldn't have looked, but I had to know. I didn't find messages, but I saw a dinner reservation for 2, under her name. The same day Becca mentioned. That was the moment I felt something break. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I got a prenatal paternity test. I went to a clinic, brought a sample of my DNA, and arranged for a discreet test through a third-party lab. I told no one. I couldn't. What if I was wrong? What if I was being a jealous idiot? While I waited, I acted like nothing was wrong. I took her to her OB appointments. I rubbed her back when she had pain. I smiled when her mom called me such a good man. I built the nursery shelf with my own hands, even hung the mobile she picked out. And every night, I lay next to her wondering if the child inside her was even mine. I didn't eat. I barely slept. But I waited. Waited for the results I knew would change. Everything. The baby shower was in full swing, balloons floating, laughter echoing off the backyard fences, and a playlist of soft acoustic songs humming in the background. From the outside, it looked perfect. But inside, my chest felt like it was splitting open. Emily had already disappeared 3 times in under an hour. Every time someone tried to get her attention, her aunt, my mom, a neighbor, she was just grabbing something from the kitchen or needed some air. But I knew better. I was watching. Brian was always nearby. Too nearby. Jackie, my younger sister, was filming clips for a little memory reel she'd planned to make. She was using her phone, just capturing the vibe. I walked over to her while she was editing a clip and noticed something. Emily in the background, arms around Brian's neck. It was quick. Just a few seconds. But not the kind of hug you give a family friend. Not the kind of hug your pregnant fiancé should be giving any man, but my hands were shaking as I walked away. I didn't say anything to anyone. I just headed inside, up the stairs, into the guest bedroom where I'd stashed the results. I pulled the envelope from the drawer. Thick. Unopened. Final. I sat down on the edge of the bed and stared at it for a few seconds. My fingers hesitated on the flap. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was about to blow up my entire life for nothing. But I couldn't ignore the knot in my gut. I opened it. Probability of paternity, 0%. That line hit harder than I expected. It was one thing to suspect. It was another to see it printed in black and white. I let the paper fall into my lap. My hands were numb. My chest was tight. But oddly, I felt calm. No more wondering. No more doubt. Just truth. I stood up, folded the results carefully, and slid them into my back pocket. Took a deep breath. Walked back down the stairs. Outside, Emily was smiling and laughing with her mom again, like nothing had happened. Like she wasn't hiding a lie so big it could tear apart the ground we stood on. I stepped out onto the lawn. The sun was hot, the music was still playing, and everyone was gathered around the gift table. I felt the paper press against my back as I walked. I had a choice. I could stay quiet, or I could tell the truth. People were gathered around the backyard, plates full of food, drinks in hand. Emily stood by the gift table with her hands resting on her belly, smiling like she hadn't done anything wrong. Like this was all real. Her mom clinked a glass and called for everyone's attention. Emily wants to say a few words. Everyone quieted down. Emily looked at me and smiled, all sweet and glowing. She cleared her throat. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here today, she began. It means the world to Jack and me. This baby, she's going to be so loved. And Jack, I couldn't have asked for a better man. You've supported me through everything. You've been patient, kind, strong. You're going to be the most amazing father. A few people clapped softly. Her mom wiped a tear. Emily kept going. I can't wait to raise our daughter together. That's when I stepped forward. Actually, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. There's just one thing. Emily turned to look at me. So did everyone else. We're not having a daughter. I paused. You are. Her face froze. Confused at first, then pale. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the folded paper, and held it up. Paternity results. Got them a couple weeks ago. No one said a word. I unfolded the page slowly. My voice didn't shake. I read it word for word. Probability of paternity, 0%. Gasps. A few hands flew to mouths. Emily took a step toward me. Jack, what are you doing? I'm telling the truth, I said, still calm. I've been showing up for you every day while you snuck off and kissed another man. I gave you everything, but you gave someone else everything else. Her dad stood frozen, jaw clenched. Her mom looked like she'd just been slapped. Brian, who had been hovering awkwardly near the drinks, started backing away slowly. I looked at him. You might want to stick around. I think you forgot something. No one moved. Emily's hands were shaking. It's not what it looks like, Jack, please. Don't, I said, tired now. Just don't. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just turned and walked away, the paper still in my hand, and left everyone standing there in silence. As I walked away, the silence behind me broke into chaos. Emily came stumbling after me, voice rising, fake laughter mixed with panic. This is insane. That test isn't even real, Jack. You probably ordered some fake thing online just to humiliate me. I stopped, turned, held the paper out. You think I'd fake something like this? You think I'd do all this if I wasn't sure? Her mom dropped into a patio chair like her legs gave out beneath her. One hand covered her mouth. She looked at Emily like she didn't even recognize her. Her dad didn't sit. He stood still for a second, fists clenched at his sides, then turned and walked straight into the house without saying a word. The screen door slammed behind him. Brian looked like a deer in headlights. Still standing by the drinks table, arms crossed awkwardly, like he was hoping no one would notice he was part of this. Then he muttered, I didn't think you'd actually. I cut him off. Didn't think she'd actually what? Keep the baby? Lied to me for months. I looked around at the people staring. Half had their phones out, pretending not to record. The rest just looked stunned. Let me fill in the blanks, I said loudly, voice hard now. She met up with Brian 2 months ago. Said it was just catching up. But I checked her emails. Found a dinner reservation for 2. That was just the start. Emily shook her head, crying now. Please, Jack, please stop. I'm not done. I looked straight at her. After that dinner, she started acting different. Picking fights. Hiding her phone. One night, I saw her smiling at her screen like she was in love. That wasn't about me. And it wasn't about this baby either, because it's not mine. A few guests quietly picked up their thing. One of her cousins grabbed her purse and slipped out the gate. Someone whispered, "Oh my God," behind me. Emily fell to her knees, clutching her stomach, sobbing. You ruined everything, she screamed. You ruined my life. I just stared at her. I didn't ruin your life. You did that all by yourself. No one tried to help her up. No one said a word in her defense. And in that moment, I realized there was nothing left to save. I didn't stick around for the cleanup. While people stood frozen in the backyard, whispering, pretending not to stare at Emily sobbing in the grass, I walked straight to my car. The duffel bag I'd packed the night before was already in the trunk, just in case. It had a few clothes, my laptop, chargers, the essentials. I didn't take much. I didn't need to. I went back into the house just once, walked past her parents' kitchen, grabbed the leash, and called the dog. He came running without hesitation, tail wagging like nothing was wrong. Emily was still outside when I left, still crying, still begging someone, anyone, to believe her. I didn't look back. That night, I checked into a cheap hotel. The room smelled like old carpet and microwave popcorn, but I didn't care. I lay on the bed, lights off, the dog curled up beside me, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like I was pretending anymore. My phone lit up nonstop. Texts, voicemails. From Emily. Please talk to me. It wasn't like that. I was confused. You're the only one I want, I swear. We can fix this. Each message came minutes apart. One was almost 12 minutes long. I didn't listen to it. Then her sister texted. Maddie. Hey. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't know for sure. But I kinda suspected something. She started lying to me too. I just didn't want to ruin everything for you guys. I thought maybe she'd come clean on her own. I stared at that last message for a long time. Come clean on her own? She never would've. Not unless I made her. I typed out a response. Deleted it. Typed another. Deleted that one too. Then I blocked her. Blocked Maddie. Blocked Emily. All of them. I turned off my phone and stared at the ceiling. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the AC unit and the occasional sigh from the dog at my feet. This wasn't the ending I imagined. No more nursery. No more bedtime stories. No little girl with my eyes. But I still had myself. And for the first time in a long time, I had the truth. It was 2:07 a.m. when I heard the knock. Not a soft one either. Sharp, fast, like someone was panicking. I sat up in bed, the dog growling low from the floor. I already knew who it was before I looked through the peephole. Emily. She was standing in the hallway of my apartment building, in a hoodie and leggings, her hair a mess, eyes red and swollen. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I opened the door just a crack. Jack, please, she whispered. Can we just talk? I didn't answer. I stepped aside and hit the voice recorder on my phone, slid it into my pocket, and let her in without a word. She walked in slowly, wiping her face, looking around like she expected the version of our old life to be waiting inside. It wasn't. I know how this looks, she started, voice shaking. But it's not that simple. I was confused. Brian he pressured me, okay? Emotionally. I didn't know how to say no without feeling awful. I didn't say anything, just watched her. I'll take a new test, she said suddenly, like it was some grand offer. We'll do it again. Maybe the first one was wrong. Maybe the lab messed up. I cut her off. It didn't mess up. She stepped closer. Jack, please. We can fix this. I still want this life with you. The baby, the house, everything. I just made one mistake. One. I asked. Just one. She blinked, started crying harder. You're going to let one mistake ruin us? You didn't just cheat, Emily, I said, my voice calm but flat. You lied to me for months. You let me build cribs, hold your hand at appointments, talk to your belly, when you knew. She stared at me. Then her eyes narrowed. You know what? She snapped. Fine. Walk away. But don't expect to ever see her. She's still my daughter. You walk away now, and you'll never be part of her life. I didn't even flinch. She's not mine, I said. And you made sure of that. The words hit her like a slap. She stood there frozen, then finally turned and walked toward the door. At the last second, she turned back. You're really just going to throw it all away? No, I said. You did. And then I closed the door behind her. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I explained everything, how Emily cheated, how the paternity test came back negative, how I'd left before signing anything official. Still, he warned me. In some states, if you're listed as the father or act like one for long enough, the court can hold you financially responsible, even if the kid isn't yours. I was floored. He told me to file immediately for a disestablishment of paternity, to protect myself from future claims, child support, custody, anything. I couldn't believe I even had to do that. While the paperwork was getting started, I couldn't stop thinking about Brian. Something about the way he stood there at the baby shower, quiet, uncomfortable, like he knew how badly he'd messed up, but wasn't new to it. It felt practiced. So I did some digging. His full name had been on a gift tag at the party, Brian Withers. A quick Google search brought up his LinkedIn, then his Facebook. And right there, in his profile picture, was a woman and 2 little kids. His family. He was married, with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Emily wasn't just his little mistake. She was one of them. I made a burner email, sent a message to his wife. I kept it simple, told her what had happened, attached screenshots of Emily hugging him, and even the results showing the baby wasn't mine. I didn't include my name. I just signed it, figured you deserved to know. 2 days later, I got an email back. She introduced herself as Lisa. Said she'd had a feeling something was wrong for a while. Turns out Brian had a pattern, random weekend work trips, locking his phone, late-night texts. But she never had proof. Until now. She thanked me, then told me something that made my stomach turn. Emily wasn't his only affair in the past year. There were at least 2 others she knew of, maybe more. He'd told each one a different story. With Emily, he claimed his marriage was basically over. With someone else, he'd lied about having kids at all. I asked why she stayed. She said she didn't anymore. She'd already talked to a divorce lawyer. Before she ended the email, she said something I'll never forget. "I'm sorry he dragged you into this. You didn't deserve it. Neither did our kids." Reading that made everything feel even heavier. It wasn't just my life that got wrecked. Brian left a trail of destruction, and Emily let him. I didn't plan to post it at first. But the more I sat with everything, what Emily did, what Brian got away with, the mess they left behind, the more it ate at me. They moved on like nothing happened. Emily was still posting bump pics like she was the victim. Self-care Sunday with my baby girl 2 hearts, while pretending the whole baby shower disaster never happened. So I wrote the post. I created a throwaway Reddit account. Late at night, I sat down and typed the whole story from the beginning. I didn't hold back. I told them about the phone hiding, the dinner with Brian, the prenatal paternity test, the baby shower kiss, her fake speech. The moment I read the results in front of everyone, I blurred names, but I attached screenshots. I even uploaded the clip my sister filmed, the one where Emily hugged Brian like no one was watching. I redacted anything personal, but it didn't matter. The story caught fire within hours. Comments started rolling in. Thousands of them. "Dude, I gasped when you said you're having a daughter." "I'm not." "She kissed him while holding the cake?" "This is why you always trust your gut." It hit the front page by morning. People started connecting dots. Some knew who she was. And just like that, Emily's name was everywhere. Her part-time job at a local daycare quietly let her go 2 days later. Not because of the cheating, but because angry parents didn't want their kids around someone tied to that much drama. I didn't feel good about it, but I didn't feel bad either. Her parents stopped speaking to her. Her mom, who had once called me the best thing that ever happened to Emily, sent a message to my sister saying, "We're ashamed. We don't know how to even look at her right now." Brian, his wife, filed for divorce. She sent me the confirmation herself, said she used my post as evidence. And then, someone shared the paternity test. The redacted version I'd posted got picked up by a few TikTok channels. They read it out loud over dramatic music. One video had over 2 million views in 3 days. Emily texted from a new number. "I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life." I didn't reply. Because the truth is, I didn't destroy anything. I just gave people the facts. They did the rest. It's been a year. 12 full months since the baby shower. Since the envelope. Since the last time I ever saw Emily in person. A lot has changed. I moved to a new apartment across town. Started therapy. Took some time off work. Then came back with a clearer head and a quiet sense of peace. I stopped blaming myself. That took a while. For months, I kept thinking, how did I not see it sooner? Was I not enough? But my therapist helped me let that go. People cheat because of who they are, not because of what someone else lacks. I still have the dog. He's been the one constant through everything. Funny how a wagging tail can keep you sane. I started dating again slowly. Nothing serious at first. Just coffee dates and awkward small talk. But then I met someone. Her name's Kara. She's calm, funny, no drama. She listens. She doesn't flinch when I talk about what happened. She makes things feel easy. And Emily? She tried to reach out. About 6 months ago, she messaged me from a new number, acting like nothing ever happened. "Hey, hope you're doing okay. Just wanted to check in. Maybe we could talk sometime?" Just as friends. Just as friends. Like I'd forget the speech she gave. The kiss in the backyard. The way she screamed that I'd ruined her life. I didn't reply. I never planned to. I've heard from a few people that she's still telling her own version of the story. That I overreacted. That the test was probably wrong. That she didn't really cheat, just made a mistake while emotionally vulnerable. But that doesn't bother me anymore. Because I know the truth. Everyone who mattered knows the truth. And I don't need to clear my name anymore. I've cleared my life. 1 year ago, I was holding a piece of paper that broke my heart. Today, I'm holding someone's hand who actually wants to build something honest with me. I sleep better. I laugh more. I don't walk around with that tight, anxious feeling in my chest anymore. Emily's still stuck in the mess she made, rewriting the story to feel better about herself. But I've moved on. And the best revenge wasn't the results I read. It was the life I rebuilt after that.